Hello everyone, I'm Bruffy1322. In this video is going to show the fastest cars made by the in-game manufacturer Dewbauchee in terms of lap time. As always, the position counter is in the top left with the best lap time the vehicle achieved in the top right, and since it's more for interest purposes rather than anything functional, non-raceable cars are included in this list. Also, as the title says, this is cars only, there's no bikes, planes or anything else here. This video only focuses on track performance, so if you're interested in top speed, where braking, cornering and acceleration aren't relevant, check the link in the description for the top speed testing series, and if you want to know more information about this testing, including the extent to which it's accurate and how useful it is for you personally, have a read of the full description as everything that you need is in there. This video lists the top 10 cars and is correct as of the Cayo Perico heist update. For any vehicles added after that or other classes of cars, check the playlist linked in the second line of the description, and feel free to check out my Patreon or become a YouTube member if you want to support this work and get testing results of any new cars a little bit early. So here we are in 7th place with the Rapid GT Classic. It is 3rd place for the Sports Classics class, and the Rapid GT Classic, the classic version of the Rapid GT, is significantly quicker than the two regular Rapid GTs which we saw in 9th and 10th places, about 3 seconds per lap slower. I also want to point out that Dewbauchee do make 12 cars in total, and the two cars that miss out on this top 10 list are the two JB700s, which perform exactly the same as each other and are about 4 seconds per lap slower than the Rapid GTs. And we've got a pretty decent gap from the slowest Dewbauchee, obviously the JB700, to the very fastest, which we'll see at the end of the video. But there's a section here of 5 cars, from 6th place to 2nd, that are all very, very close in terms of pace, all within a second of each other in terms of lap time. We had the 770 there, as we just saw, then we've got the Spectre here with a 104.3, the 770 was a 104.7 but has a significantly higher top speed, all in the sports class here again with the Spectre Custom. The only difference between the Spectre and the Spectre Custom is that the custom version uses downforce for its grip, whereas the Spectre uses the regular old style added traction from a spoiler. And they're very close in terms of performance as well. It's kind of a balancing act between them. And yeah, the Dewbauchee makes some, really solid sports cars. They haven't made anything for a while that's been at the very top of the sports cars class, but certainly back in the day historically with things like the Massacro, they were always right up there on the top pace until we got this new breed of sports cars that were significantly quicker. So it's kind of crazy, honestly, that the Massacro is in 3rd place. It was one of the very first DLC cars that was ever added to the game, and obviously in 2nd place we're going to have the Massacro race car as well, so spoiler alert. Those two cars were added very early to the game, and it's kind of surprising that Dewbauchee haven't had anything added apart from one vehicle that's quicker since then. They certainly haven't made anything recently that's on the top pace, certainly in sports. But it's interesting that we've got 5 cars here of the two Massacros, the Spectres and the 770 that are all very, very close on pace in the same class and could easily be raced against each other, and there would be certain tracks where they would be quite balanced, especially with the lap time of the 770 being the worst but it having the highest top speed of the 5. So yeah, the classics, the old boys, the Massacros, they're in 2nd and 3rd place. They're still the top 2 2 of the top 3 quickest cars that Dewbauchee make, but the quickest car that Dewbauchee makes is also the only supercar that this manufacturer makes as well, and it's still right up there on the very top pace even for the supercars class. It is of course the Wagner. In terms of top speed, if we were looking at this list for top speed, the Wagner would also be number 1 there as well, with a top speed about 3 mph quicker than 770, which would be 2nd. And the Wagner, with its 59-second lap time, obviously it's there's not many cars in the game that can get under 1 minute. It's the only Dewbauchee vehicle that goes under a minute, and it's over 4 seconds per lap quicker than the next best from the manufacturer of the Massacro race car. And it's 3rd place in supercars. It's not quite on the pace of the Krieger and the Emirates at the top of supercars, but considering the Wagner is relatively decently priced in comparison to those two cars, at least it certainly can still compete at the very top. And you know, if you're looking for a budget option for supercar racers, that's to get something that is you know, on a decent pace, the Wagner is the one to buy. For a long time, the Wagner was the quickest. You know, it was the number one, and it's only recently, since the Krieger and the Emirates have come along, that the Wagner has been dethroned. But even so, it's not that far off, and it's still, you know, up there in the top 3 fastest cars in the game, in the supercars class at least, if you know, negate the open wheelers. And obviously, by that token, it is the quickest car that Dewbauchee make. They don't make too many. Obviously, we've seen in this sort of mini series that there's manufacturers that make a lot of cars. Dewbauchee only make 12. You've obviously seen 10 of them here, and then the 2 GB700s would be 11th and 12th. But certainly they knocked it out of the park with their only supercar of the Wagner. Much quicker than obviously second place of the Massacro race car, and I hope we see more from them, to be honest. Obviously, you know, that Dewbauchee are the in-game version of Aston Martin, and you know, they're such a great car maker. It would be nice to see even more from them in the future, but as it is right now, the Wagner is their quickest. So that's pretty much it for this one. Consider supporting on Patreon or become a YouTube member if you want testing results early. And remember to read the description for more info, comment with your thoughts, like the video if you enjoyed it, found it helpful, and subscribe for more. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.